Good morning. Today we're looking at all of Genesis chapter 39. And as always, I encourage you to read this chapter carefully because I think you're going to see how it teaches us about God's presence in hardship, integrity under pressure, and the faithfulness in both success and suffering. In verses 1 through 6, Joseph arrives in Egypt and is sold to Potiphar. Even though Joseph has been betrayed and taken far from home, the key phrase appears repeatedly: the Lord was with Joseph. Because of this, Joseph prospers, and Potiphar entrusts everything in his house to him. This shows us that God's presence is not limited by location or our circumstance. Joseph is a servant in a foreign land, yet God's favor is clearly upon him. In verses 7 through 10, Joseph faces a new test. Potiphar's wife tries to tempt him to sin. Joseph refuses, not only out of loyalty to his master, but because his relationship with God. He says, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Joseph sees sin correctly, not just as a wrong against people, but against God himself. He also consistently avoids being alone with her, showing wisdom in how he handles temptation. In verses 11 through 18, the situation escalates. Joseph is falsely accused when he continues to refuse her advances. She uses deception to turn the situation against him. Joseph does what is right, yet suffers for it. This is a powerful reminder that obedience does not always lead to immediate reward. Sometimes it leads to unjust consequences. In verses 19 through 20, Joseph is thrown into prison. From a human perspective, his situation has only worsened. From a favored son to slave to prisoner, yet even here, God's presence does not leave him. In verses 21 through 23, we again read that the Lord was with Joseph. In prison, Joseph finds favor and is given responsibility. What he does prospers, not because of his position, but because God is with him. Joseph remains faithful in every season, whether in success or suffering. This chapter teaches us that God's presence is constant, even when circumstances are difficult or they seem unfair. It also shows us that integrity does matter. Joseph refuses to sin, even when no one is watching, and even when it costs him personally. And as always, you can see how this passage points us to Christ. Just as Joseph was falsely accused and suffered despite doing what was right, Jesus Christ was also falsely accused and suffered though he was without sin. Yet through that suffering, God's greater plan was accomplished. Today, commit to living with integrity, even when it is difficult or when no one else sees it. Trust that God is with you in every situation and remain faithful whether you are in season of blessing or seasons of hardship, knowing that God is working through it all. God bless.